Hi folks, this is Kramer from IT Visualizer channel. They will continue our lab, the Red Alert Lab. This is the video number 78. We have been discussing in the previous video the following. We have discussed where we have reached in our lab so far. So we have a lab scenario. We have discussed what we have done until now, what we have finished, what is left from the scenario lab to be implemented. So after discussing all of this, we have a quick recap about what we have discussed. So in the previous video we continue working with our scenario. After summarizing what we have done so far, we have created a virtual machine in the Japanese army, and this virtual machine or this workstation in the Japanese army need to join the domain, and then we need to test our different group policies on it using or logging in on this machine with different users to test the different group policies that we have created in our lab so far, and to test the Active Directory login script. So we have done this in the previous video. We have seen that the Japanese users will have their background displayed as the Japanese flag, and we have seen that also the Japanese language will be installed automatically once the Japanese user log in on his Japanese workstation. And we have seen also that the time zone should be changed to reflect Japan time zone, not Cairo time zone. This was a mistake from me, but I have shown you all how you can fix this. You can change the registry key not to set up or to implement the Cairo time zone, but it can be changed to reflect Japan time zone, because this workstation is in Japan, and the same should be done to the Russian army and the American army. Anyway, this video we will create a virtual machine in the Russian army, and we should have the display language of this workstation to be in Russian language. So the Windows display language should be in Russian language, and we should see something similar to what we have done in the Japanese workstation. The Russian language should be installed automatically once this workstation joins the domain and a Russian user log in on his Russian workstation. So let's see, we will create a virtual machine in the Russian army, we will join it to the domain, and we will try different users with different privileges on this machine to see the different group policies that will be applied, and to see the Active Directory login script which will be applied to this user. Okay, and the Active Directory login script applied to the Russian user should be different from the one that applied to the Japanese user. Okay, we have 3 Active Directory login script, every script for, or every one script to be for a certain army. So there is an Active Directory login script for the Russian army, Active Directory login script for the Japanese army, Active Directory login script for the American army. So let's see, or to continue from where we have stopped the last time. So here we will create a virtual machine, a new virtual machine. We will install Windows 10 LTSC on it. Okay, we'll tell him install later. It will be Windows 10 64-bit system. It will be a workstation in the Russian army, and this will be the name. It was pre-staged pre-staged in the Active Directory. It was a computer object was previously created in the Active Directory, so it was created. We need only to join it to the domain, and it will be placed in the OU that we have created the computer object in earlier. Okay, so it is airplane 54. The next we will give it a hard disk of 300, or it should be 300 gigabytes, and then we will customize the hardware. We should give it at least some RAM. Anyway, I will close all of my other virtual machines and give a lot of RAM and processor to this machine to fasten the process of installing the Windows, and then after that we can decrease the RAM and processor for this virtual machine and return it back to the other virtual machines. Okay, because I have a limited hard disk and processor and RAM requirement, or RAM specifications, so I am just working or try to allocate certain RAM or to accommodate myself with working with this limited hardware. Okay, so I'm giving this virtual machine 4 GB of RAM, 2 processors, and then I will install Windows 10 LTSC on this virtual machine. Okay, this should be for the Russian army, so it should have the Russian language displayed. First, we will change the network adapter to be on VMnet 8. This network should have access to the internet, so I'm putting this virtual machine on VMnet 8 because it have access to the internet, and it is where my domain network is connected to. So now we are going to insert the Windows 10 Enterprise LTSC DVD. If you have a DVD, Windows 10 DVD that includes the Russian language, this should be fine. But if it is only with English language, so you cannot install, or this DVD does not contain Russian or Windows 10 with Russian language, it's only in English, I will show you all a way that you can change it from English to Russian language. Okay, so let's see how we can do this. First of all, we will open the program. Actually, something happened and I have restarted my machine, so I have closed the VM Workstation Pro and open it back. So we will go now and power on the virtual machine and then begin working with installing the Windows 10 LTSC. So this is the DVD. I think I have changed the version. I will not install Windows 10 LTSC, but I will install Windows 10 20H2 operating system. Anyway, we will power on the virtual machine. Actually, now we have Windows 10 version 22H2. Okay, so this is an old version because I was recording this video at 2021. It was last year. Anyway, so we'll install the Windows 10 operating system. We'll begin customizing the hard disk of this virtual machine. We should have two partitions. The C partition should be more than 150 gigabyte. This is the recommendations of Microsoft, to have the C, or the partition that will hold the operating system, to be more than 150 gigabyte, and the other or the rest of the hard disk should be allocated to one partition. Okay, here we can see that I don't have language to install except English. I need it to be Russian, so all the windows will be displayed in Russian language. So I don't have this. This DVD only contains windows with English language display language. So we will install it in English language, and I will show you all how we can change it to Russian language in an automatic way. Okay, so we will install it in English language, and then we tell him next, install now, and then we should partition our hard disk. So we need to install Windows 10 Enterprise. Okay, next. And then we should accept the license agreement or license terms, and then customize the installation, and unallocated space we should partition this hard disk or this unallocated space to C and D. The C should be more than 150 gigabyte, but actually because of the total hard disk is 70 gigabyte, so I am working with less space. Anyway, so I have make the C to be 60 and the D to be 10 or 11. Okay, and formatted the D partition so I can see it in the in the Windows operating system. Now we have choose the C partition, which is 60 gigabyte, to install the operating system on it. And now we can see that the installation is working. We should wait for a couple of seconds. Now we need another thing to get the MAC address of this virtual machine, because we should tell our DHCP to let this virtual machine take IP address from him by the MAC address. So he will let the machine take IP address if you allow this MAC address of the of this virtual machine network adapter, of course. So this is called MAC filtering. The DHCP will allow or will let this machine take IP address from him based on the MAC address that you put in the DHCP allowed filter section. Okay, anyway, so now this machine is now working, or we have finished the installation. Okay, so now I think we can begin the initial setup. This is the out of the box experience phase. We should let it or work with the English language until we find a way to install the Russian language. We don't need to install the keyboard or the Russian keyboard. This will be done using the Active Directory login script. As for the display language, I will tell you all a way to change the display language from English to Russian in an automatic way. So this is the keyboard, US keyboard. We only install the US keyboard. We do not add another keyboard layout. This will be done using the Active Directory login script. So now this is the out of the box experience phase. It is running a couple of steps. Here we can see that we don't have internet because the DHCP or this machine doesn't have an IP address, and the DHCP still didn't I didn't allow the DHCP to give this virtual machine an IP address. Okay, so let's wait first to finish the installation. Now he is asking for a local or a second local administrator account. So I've given him my name, Raouf2, to be the second local administrator account. We have a default local administrator account called administrator. It is used during the setup of the Windows, and then after finishing the setup it is disabled. Okay, so now we are putting a password for the second local administrator account. Okay, and then put the password. Just a moment, guys. Sorry guys, just a moment. So we are working. Yes, I think, sorry, because the laptop has made a sleep option, or it was hibernated. So let's wait for a moment. We can return back a little bit here. So here I think we have stopped at the part of installation of the keyboard and network. We don't have IP address, and now we have created our second local administrator account and give it a password. And then I think let's continue from here. So this, we have put a password for this second local administrator account, and then he will begin creating secret questions. So when I forget my password, he will ask these secret questions and I will provide an answer. After these answers are correct, he can provide me with my user account password. Okay, so now we are in the privacy settings section. We are disabling all of these options because we are concerned about our company privacy, and we will not enable the Cortana because it takes a lot from the RAM, and actually also it's a little bit of a security issue for me. Okay, so we are disabling Cortana and disable the privacy setting, and now the Windows is up and running. Okay, so we need to join this machine to the domain. Okay, but before that we need to find a way to change it from English language or from English Windows display language to English Russian display language. How we can do this? We can go to the internet and install the Russian language pack or Russian Windows display language pack, and this how we can after installing this pack, we will tell him to convert it from English to Russian. This will be done manually for the first time, and then after that this will be done manually for one user on one machine, and then after for one user on this machine, and then after that we will create a group policy to let every user on every Russian machine that has the Russian language pack installed on it to be changed from English to Russian. We will see that in a moment. So let's see first how we can install the Russian language pack, and then how we can, through a group policy, to make this Russian language the default Windows display language. Okay, let's see that. Now we will go and log in with the second local administrator account, and then we need to access the internet to install the Russian language. So as we can see here that this is Windows 10 20H2. So actually I said before the latest version is 21H2, and 22H2 preview version is now available. If we type run and then command winver, we can see that the version of Windows is Windows 20H2. Okay, so now we can see that this version of Windows is installed. Now we need to go and change the name of this machine to be Airplane 54, so we can join this machine after that to the domain. We all know that I have pre-staged this machine in the Active Directory by creating the computer object in a certain OU in the Russian OU. Okay, so we should make it the same. The computer object name should be the same as the computer name. Okay, so now we tell him next, and then after that we need to join this machine to the domain. But before doing this, we need to install the Russian language pack. So we are restarting now, and then we need to install the Russian language pack. Let me show you all how we can do this. This is very simple. You will go to system setting and then go to the language and the keyboard, and then tell him to install the Windows display language. We will see that in a moment how we can do this, and this can be done for any language, okay, not the Russian language. This can be done for the Japanese language and every language you can imagine. Okay, so this is a very simple thing to do, but I think first of all I need to make this machine access the internet. But before that we need to install the VMware tools on the virtual machine, so we can have a best performance for this virtual machine, and also I can, as a laptop or my physical machine, can communicate with the virtual machine, or my laptop can communicate with this virtual machine. Okay, so this should be achieved by installing VMware tools. Okay, so now we are installing the VMware tools, and this after installing the VMware tools, a restart should be initialized or should be initiated. So we are installing the VMware tools. This is very essential for this virtual machine to work perfectly and to let me communicate with it. The laptop or my physical machine can communicate with my virtual machine, or my host can communicate with my guest. So let's see, we have seen that the display now it is corrected and it's working perfectly. So now we have our machine up and running. We will shut down the machine, and then we will join it to the domain, and after joining it to the domain we will have access to the internet. So we will access the internet and then install the Russian language, and then we'll make a group policy to make this language the default Windows display language. So this is, I think, let me pass this real quickly because here I'm trying to see something here. Anyway, so I have now taking the MAC address, what just we have done. Just wait for a moment. So here I am editing the virtual machine setting on this machine and take the MAC address and put it in the DHCP allowed filter, so this machine can take an IP address from the DHCP. So we'll copy the MAC address, copy it, and then add it to the DHCP allowed filter. By doing this, we are telling the DHCP to give this machine IP address. This lets you control which machines to take IP address from the DHCP based upon their MAC address. So now we are opening the POW workstation that will access the Active Directory, and we are opening our primary domain controller, and we should also open our DHCP, which is in the same time our secondary domain controller. So now we are opening the POW, and we have opened our primary domain controller. Now we will open our DHCP and put the MAC address of this machine in the allowed section, so the DHCP can give this machine an IP address. So now we are powering on the DHCP, And now everything is up and running, so we need to go and open our console and then go to the allowed filter section and add the MAC address of this machine to the allowed DHCP filter. Okay, this is a very good way to control the machines, taking IP addresses from your DHCP. This can be overcome by something called MAC spoofing, but anyway, this is one of the security measures you should apply in your network to control the IPs given to your machines or any machine in your network. Okay, so we'll open our console and then we should add this MAC address of this virtual machine. So we will open our red alert console and then we should go and open the DHCP. Okay, so this is the Russian OU. We can go to the DHCP now and then open IP version 4 section. Here is the DHCP and then IP version 4, and then in the filters, okay, in the allow filter, okay, we will create an entry. There is allow and deny, so you can allow IP address to be taken or deny. Okay, so we will tell him, right click on the allow section, tell him new filter, and put the MAC address of this machine that you have created from a couple of seconds ago. But as we see here, that the MAC address should contain some dashes, because every two digits should be separated with a dash. Okay, as I'm doing now. So we are doing this, and then we will put the description of the name of the machine, which is airplane 54. Okay, so by doing this, the machine will take an IP address from the DHCP and it will be authorized to access the internet. So now let's see. We will close this machine, or we shut down this machine, and then open the airplane 54 machine, and then see if we can access the internet services. Here we are just making sure that our DHCP is working, our WSOS is working, our file server is working. All of this should be can be monitored from certain services in the Windows Services section. Okay, so anyway, we can now make sure, or we can now test if this machine will access the internet. Okay, and actually by taking IP address it will access the internet and it can join the domain, because the DHCP will give it the IP address of the domain controller, which is at the same time is the DNS of the domain, DNS server of the domain. Anyway, so I'm shutting down the POW workstation, and then we will open the machine. Let me see how much time we have. Okay, we have a little bit of the time. So we will closing the POW workstation, and then we will open the airplane 54. So just power off, and then open the airplane 54, and then power on this machine, and then we should, now we can see that we have internet. So here we have internet, so that means that IP address was taken from the DHCP, and now we can access the internet and we can join this machine to the domain. And actually it will go to a certain OU in the Russian army, or the computer's OU in the Russian army OU, because I have pre-staged it, or I have pre-created it in sub OU under the Russian army OU. Okay, so now we can see that we have internet access. So we need to right click and tell him properties and join this machine to the domain. So I think before that I need to install the Russian language. So let's see what will be done first, joining this machine to the domain or adding the Russian language to the domain. I think I will add the Russian language to the domain, I think. So let's go further. So what we will do, again, let me show you all how we can do this. So I think now let's wait for a moment. Okay, so let's go there. Let's go a little bit further. So what we will do now, we need to install the Russian language. So what we will go to the setting section, okay, and then tell him to download the Russian keyboard, Russian language. We can add the Russian keyboard, by the way, but I need only to install the Russian Windows Display Language Pack. So we'll go to Time and Language, and then through the language section, and then tell him to, this is Windows Display Language, we have only the English, so we need to add Russian. Okay, so we will add another language, which is the Russian language. We can add the keyboard and the Windows Display Russian language. So we tell him Russian, we need to search for it, Russian. Okay, so we can pass this real quickly, Russian, and then we will choose the Russian language. Okay, and tell him next. Here we can see that there is some options: display language, text to speech, speech recognition. We can add all of these setting concerning this language. So tell him next, and then we will choose what we need to add. We need to add the keyboard, Russian keyboard, or to add the Windows Russian display language, or both. So let's see how we can do this. So tell him what I'm doing here. I'm telling him to install language pack and set as my Windows display language. Okay, so this is it. We can add it as my Windows display language. This will be done for this user only. Okay, so this Russian language will be only for this user. We need to do it for all of the users on this machine. I will show you all how we can do this using a group policy. Anyway, so we will tell him to set this language as my display language and tell him to install. So now he will begin installing the language. He will download it first, and then after finishing the download he will restart, and then we will see that the Windows display language will be changed from English to Russian. Okay, so after that we can join this machine to the domain, but only this Russian language will be displayed for this user. If we have created another user on this machine, he will see the English as his Windows display language, not the Russian. So we need to make a group policy to set the Russian language as the default Windows display language. So let's see how we can do this. But first of all, we need to run, I think, and type or get system properties advanced. This is the window. Through it we will join the machine to the domain. So if we type system properties advanced and press OK, this is a shortcut to get what? To get let me wait for a moment. To get the system properties, so you can get the system properties by run and then type this command and then tell him to join this machine to the domain. Anyway, I will not join this machine to the domain only after I install the Russian language. So let's wait. So there is a way to change the English display language to Russian display language by installing the Russian Windows display language. This can be done using the WSOS to be in an automatic way, and then create a group policy to set the Russian display language as the default Windows display language for all of the users on this machine. Okay, so now we are signing out and restarting so that the Windows display language is changed. So let's wait and see if it is changed already or not. So let's see now. Now if you open it, now here we can see that the keyboard, the Russian keyboard, is installed. So he have installed the Russian keyboard in addition to the Windows Russian display language. Okay, so now I am logging into the machine. So let's wait and see. Now we can see that everything is changed to Russian language. So we have successfully changed the display language to Russian language. So we now can join this machine to the domain and see the different things and different settings. Now we are opening the run command and type this system properties advanced command to get the window or the system properties. Through it we can join the machine to the domain. So we can get this one and then this icon. Okay, and then this is the section for the domain, and then we will type the domain and then join this machine to the domain. Okay, we need to change it to the English language, and then join this machine to the domain and press OK. Then we need also to test and see if the user or the users will have the Russian keyboard installed by default. This is already done, but the Active Directory login script contains this command anyway, so we need to join this machine to the domain using a Russian IT account. Okay, so I'm trying to do this, but actually the password for this user is not correct, so I didn't succeed in using a Russian IT account, so I will use the domain admin account. Okay, it's not security standard. It's not safe to use a domain admin account to join a machine to the domain, but you can delegate the joining machines to the domain to an account and give only this right to a certain account. Okay, not to give it all of the privileges of the domain admin. Anyway, so I've tried a lot of users, but at the end I have used the domain admin account. This is not correct, so let's go there and see. Let's wait for a moment. So I think this is a Russian account. Let's see if it will be working. I think it will not work actually, so let's see. I think at the end I will use a domain admin account, okay, or T Stark or Tony Stark. This is domain admin account, because I failed at the end because my password was not correct. So it was not correct, so I need to use a domain admin account, T Stark. So this is not a correct step to do, okay, because if this machine is hacked, the domain admin account will be compromised. So we need to create an Active Directory or give the Russian IT account the delegation or the right to join a machine to his OU. Okay, only this, to his OU, not to any other OU in the Active Directory. Now we have joined this machine to the domain, so let's see. Now we will restart the machine and log in with an account, or try the different users or Russian users to log in on this machine. We will see that the first thing we will notice that the welcome message, it is in English. We need to change it to Russian, so we will create a group policy to change this welcome message to be displayed in Russian language. This is the first thing we need to notice. And then if we used any account or any Russian account on this machine, we will see that the displayed or Windows displayed language is English. Okay, so this is another thing. And we will see also that some users, the background should be the Russian army flag, but it is not applied. So this means that our group policy for the Russian army is not working. Okay, as for the IT Workstation admin, we will see that this background is correct. I have make it, or the local administrator account have a different background than the normal Russian user or the normal IT Russian IT. Okay, so now we can see that all of the registry keys are applied. Okay, we can see everything is correct. The timing should be changed to reflect Cairo time zone, and this is another mistake. We need to let the Active Directory or change the Active Directory login script not to change this machine time zone to Cairo, but to be changed to Russia IT, Russian time zone. Okay, so this should be another thing we need to correct. This should not be the Cairo time zone. Okay, so we can export the time zone registry key from any machine that have the Russian time zone installed on it. We will export this key and then let the Active Directory login script to run this registry key. Anyway, so now we need to restart the machine. We can see that the section of, or the search bar is have disappeared during to the Active Directory login script. You can see that the English language is still there. All of this is English language. Where is the Russian language? So it's only applied to one user. Okay, we need to make it applied to every user in the domain. Sorry, every user in the Russian OU, or every user on the Russian workstations. Okay, so now we have tried a local administrator account. Now we will try a normal user account, not a local administrator account. Bob Kovu, this is one in the Air Force or the Russian Air Force. You should see the Russian flag as his background, but we will see that no, that the background is not correct. If you log in, you will see that he have a different background. So there is a problem with my group policy. It should be changed. I will change it in the upcoming video, so we can see here. This is not the background that I have intended. This should be the Russian army flag. This is only displayed for the local administrators on this machine. This background will be displayed only for the local administrators on this machine. So I have tried another user, so I have signed out and try another user. The same applied. Here we can see that this user, for example, have a background that is not correct. This should be the Russian army, and we can see that this user is in the Air Force, so the Air Force shared folder appeared, his Active Directory home folder appeared, and he can see two department shares, the Air Force share folder and the USSR all army share folder, and we can see that there is quotas on all of these share folders. So that means that our file server is working perfectly, and this user had seen his shared folders only. Okay, this is for the Air Force because he is a member of the Air Force, Russian Air Force, and this is a shared folder that will appear for all of the army of the Russian army. Okay, and this is his Active Directory home folder. So we need a couple of things to be changed. This background should be changed, and the Russian language should be displayed as the default Windows display language, and the welcome message should be also displayed in Russian language. All this will be rectified and changed in the upcoming video. So let's see. I think I have here finished. So here I will shut down all the machines. Okay, so in the upcoming video I will let you all, or I will tell you all, how we can use our group policy to fix all of the errors or all of the things that we have listed now. Hope this video is informative for you all. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and share and like this video. If anyone needs to communicate with me, I am available on my Telegram channel, on my Facebook channel, on my WhatsApp. Thank you so much.